I remember, courtesy of history, when in 1958, the Gaullist administration in France, having surrendered to the reality that Africans had to regain their independence, asking the colonies to vote yes or no. It is only Modibo Keita of Mali and Ahmed Sékou Touré of Guinea, and to a certain extent Ahmed Ben Bella of Algeria, who said we will be free in poverty. And you remember what they did when they were leaving the French. They destroyed everything, leaving Guinea to die. They had written the obituary of Guinea. They had written the obituary of Mali. They had written the obituary of Algeria. And they ensured that their former colonies entered into a pact which is alive today, that their currency will be printed from France, and that their banks will be controlled from France. In the mind of the French, whether you are talking of Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, whether you are talking of Nicolas Sarkozy, whether you are talking of Macron, in their unguarded moment, they still think that former French colonies are merely their backyards. That is the Africa that you are asking me to talk about, how she can work. Sometimes arrogant British. Why arrogant? The empire over which the sun will never set, they said, but it set. They colonized Nigeria, they colonized Ghana, and people fought against them. It was a great son of this land, the Osagyefo, Kwame Nkrumah, who on the eve of independence and on the day of independence reminded Africans on the 6th day of March 1957 that the independence of Ghana meant nothing if the rest of Africa was not free. Independence from the United Kingdom. They gave us constitution. They called them the Westminster Model Constitution. Remember, we are in Africa, but our constitutions, whether in Ghana or in Nigeria or in Uganda or in Malawi or in Zambia or Kenya or Tanzania, are referred to as Westminster Model Constitution. British bureaucrats. And Africa, for which once we had regained our independence, they created for us the Commonwealth of Independent States. And that Commonwealth is a Commonwealth of independent and equal states, they tell us. And Africa, where Belgium, little Belgium, controlled the Democratic Republic of Congo, controls Rwanda and Urundi. That is the Africa that we are talking about. Can she be great? Can she be made to work? Oh, the post-colonial African state was designed to fail. This is the question that sometimes we are too afraid to ask. There is also another Africa, which recently as 1980, when I was a high school student, had not even regained our independence. Zimbabwe, called Rhodesia at that time. Those who had started speaking about Africa and how to make Africa great were being eliminated one by one. In Congo, in 1961, barely 9 months after Congo had regained our independence, Patrice Emery Lumumba was dead. In Togo, Barely 1 year after independence, Silvanus Olympio was dead. And if they were not dead, they were removed. Here in Ghana, the Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah was removed. In Nigeria, Nnamdi Azikiwe was removed with Tafawa Balewa and the Sultan of Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello. In Mali, Modibo Keita was gone. And if you go to all the countries, Amadou Ahidjo was gone. David Dako was gone. Coup d'etats. That is the Africa that you are asking me to say, how will it work? It was never at ease. Destabilization after destabilization. That is the Africa. But the beauty of it that amidst all these Africans, whether they are in the political class or in the academy or in different sectors, even when they are engaged in activities that appear to undermine Africa, they have always been conscious of the fact that this continent needs to move in some useful direction. Here will not remember Africa Growth Opportunity Act, the House, the Parliament of the United States of America sitting at the Capitol Hill in the United States of America saying we open the space for African countries. And what are they opening space for? Textile. We will now, whether it is in Lesotho, whether it is in Nigeria or Nairobi, Kenya, our women and our young men are sewing jeans and other apparels which are taken to supermarkets in the United States of America. And once they have worn them and they are tired of them, they created another export opportunity of second-hand clothing. So when we talk about this continent of Africa, there have been no shortage of attempts to help her and for her to help herself. I remember on the 6th day of March, 1997, in Accra, Ghana, the former president of Tanzania, Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, speaking under the theme, the unity of Africa, said, among other things, that we have not come here to remind ourselves how important unity is. We know that African unity is significant. And he said, if Africa is to be a great continent and if Africa is to realize our potential, Africans must de-emphasize their Tanzanian-ness. Africans must de-emphasize their Ghanaian-ness. And they must emphasize their Africanness. And he went on to say, I'm not naive in appreciating that we have long been in our little corners, but I'm telling us that out there in the world, they only know us as Africans. And he reminded the audience that there are times when he has gone to Europe and his own colleagues in the leadership in certain parts of the world will ask him, what is happening in Senegal? While he himself is the president of Tanzania. So that is the Africa that we are talking about. So there have been many initiatives to make Africa great. How many of us will forget the new initiative for African development under NEPAD, signed in the year 2001 in Lusaka, Zambia, when Africans took the view once again that in order to grow, we must work together. There have been no shortage of initiatives to bring Africa together.